You steady your breath as the cathedral clock groans out 12 hollow notes, each one echoing through the deserted corridors of the Bibliotheca Regia. Midnight, the hour when ink gleams like obsidian and parchment sighs beneath your quill, has always belonged to you. Tonight, though, the hush feels charged, as if the shelves themselves inhale alongside you. You are here for a single forbidden folio, a scroll rumoured to bleed scarlet when moonlight touches it. The keepers call it the Scroll of the Scarlet Scriptorium, but they whisper the name only once, as though a second utterance might summon fire. Your lantern casts an amber halo that shivers on stone, and you slip behind the iron-barred scriptorium door. The lock, older than your own living memory, complains softly when you turn the key, but no guard dares patrol this wing. They fear the scroll. You, however, crave it. Why? Because the scratch of rumour has become an itch you can no longer ignore. Because you have spent years translating every fragment of lost Latin you could find. And because something inside you aches for the moment an ancient hand meets yours across the gulf of time. Dare you linger on that thought, or do you flex your fingers and begin? You unroll the parchment just far enough to glimpse the first illustration. A crimson archangel stands astride a ruined city, wings dripping as if they were dipped in claret. Beneath the image, in neat Carolingian minuscule, you read, Lux in tenebris lucet, et tenebrae eam non comprehenderunt. Light shines in the darkness, and the darkness understood it not. You murmur the Latin aloud, letting each syllable resonate in the vaults. Is it a blessing or a warning? The archangel's gaze offers no comfort. Your quill scratches, copying every stroke with tender fidelity. Feather meets vellum, ink meets silence. Yet, as you reach the final curve of a letter, a chill runs across your shoulders like winter's fingertip. You turn. Nothing stirs, but you feel watched. You shake it off, telling yourself that sleeplessness breeds fantasies. Then you notice the second illustration, a monk, throat laid open, scarlet ribbons spiraling from the wound. Below, another Latin phrase beckons, qui legit intelligat. Let the one who reads understand. Instinct tells you that the scroll is speaking directly to you. Understand what? You lean in, tracing the letters, and beneath the ink you detect indentations, as though a stylus pressed hidden glyphs into the skin of the text. Could a secret message hover between strokes? Your heartbeat answers with a swift resounding yes. Days pass, or do they blur? By dawn, word of a real murder spirals through Florence. A local friar, discovered lifeless by the Arno, throat severed cleanly, a ribbon of crimson inked across cobblestones. You stand beside his shrouded body, summoned by the Signoria itself. The scene mirrors the scroll's second illustration with dreadful precision. You avoid meeting anyone's eyes. If you confess you copied the image hours earlier, would they brand you heretic, sorcerer, or worse? You keep your tongue bridled, but your thoughts gallop. Did you cause this, or simply read fate before it unfolded? You ask yourself the question no scholar wishes to face. If knowledge precedes catastrophe, does it also bear responsibility? Back in the library, you labour to decode the indentations. You dust the scroll with fine charcoal, a trick you learned from a fellow codicologist. Letters emerge beneath letters, a palimpsest of menace. In scriptore mors latet, it reads, Death lies within the writer. A riddle, a threat, or prophecy? You feel the words settle on your skin like ash. At that moment, footsteps ring beyond the barred door, sharp, purposeful. The bishop's emissary enters, flanked by guards clad in the livery of the crown. church and throne in one place, never a good omen. They accuse you of harboring heresy. You reply with measured calm, but your mind calculates escape as swiftly as a chess master sees openings. The scroll must not be seized. Knowledge cannot be caged by steel. After a tense exchange, you convince them the scroll is mere legend, nothing more than an old curiosity. They leave, yet their suspicion lingers like incense. You clutch the parchment to your chest and vow to finish the translation before either faction, cross, or crown claims it. In the hush that follows, you realize the scroll structure mirrors the book of Revelation. 7 seals, 7 portents. 2 illustrations decoded, 5 yet to come. You ask, do you have the courage to read further, knowing each image may bloom into blood? Your answer arrives in silence, but you already know. You will read. You always have. Night falls again. Candlelight flickers, and you advance to the 3rd seal. An Italian merchant hangs from a gibbet, coins spilling from his purse. Underneath, curled like a sleeping serpent, another Latin clue. Non timebis insidious noctis. You will not fear the snares of the night. A shred of irony, or a dare. You frown, then freeze. The coins, some bear the visage of the French king, others of the Florentine fleur-de-lis. Political commentary hidden in pigment, centuries ahead of its era. Minutes later, a messenger bursts in. Word arrives that a wealthy banker was found dangling from the Ponte Vecchio. Pouches of French and Florentine coin clatter at his feet. Panic consumes the city. You alone perceive the pattern tightening around history's throat. Each murder a grotesque echo of the scroll. In the council chamber, scholars debate parchment and omen. You watch rival clerics argue semiotics, while city guards wipe real blood from marble floors. Some claim the scroll is a coded plea for reform. Others call it a devilish trap. You speak rarely, choosing moments of quiet precision, quoting Augustine to placate clergy, citing Aristotle to impress humanists. Yet you conceal the deepest truth. The scroll is unfinished. The final illustration remains uninked, a parchment void awaiting its design. If events mirror images, what horror will transpire when ink meets that last blank space? Could you stop the quill? Or will the quill guide your hand beyond your will? The thought stalks you long after the council disperses. Torn between duty and dread, you retreat to the basilica's crypt, where dust lies thick as regret. There, hidden behind a mosaic of Michael triumphant, you discover a second scroll case, empty save for a single blood-coloured feather. You pluck it up, heart drumming. The message is plain. Someone, or something, continues the script alongside you. Are you a translator, or a collaborator in crimson? You whisper, quid facem? What should I do? Your voice fades into stone. No answer comes, only the hollow beat of distance. At dawn, church bells toll a discordant warning. The city wakes to fear. The crown demands swift justice. The bishop demands repentance. And both want a scapegoat. You sense your name glimmering on their tongues like poison. To survive, you must lay bare the scroll's origin. You track the parchment to a forgotten abbey in the Apennines, a place swallowed by ivy and rumour. Along the mountain path, you ponder the facade of power. Is it the church or the crown truly steering these murders? Or does the scroll manipulate them both? The air thins, and your doubts thicken with each step. Inside the abbey, you descend spiral stairs worn smooth by pilgrim feet. At the lowest landing, a fresco waits, half erased by damp, yet unmistakable. It portrays a horizon split by a bleeding sun, an image not yet revealed on your scroll, but certain to appear. Beneath it, a final Latin line carved into stone. In fine, lector fit scriptum. At the end, the reader becomes the text. Your breath hitches. Could this be the meta-textual twist foretold? If the reader becomes the text, who then becomes you? Your pulse thrums with a wild realization. You may be both author and victim, quill and wound. Resolve hardens. You hurry back to Florence, scroll protected beneath your cloak. There, in your private study, you summon all courage and translate the 4th, 5th, and 6th seals in frantic succession. Each deciphered vision finds twin tragedy in the streets within hours. Citizens whisper that apocalypse has slipped its cage. Yet you press on until only one blank pane remains at the scroll's end. Each fiber of your being begs you to stop. But can you? Curiosity, the scholar's blessing and curse, pulls you forward. In the quiet pre-dawn, you dip your quill into crimson ink and hover above the untouched parchment. Your hand trembles, as if sensing that your next stroke will erode the wall between word and world. You ask yourself, do you trust the church, the crown, or your own conscience? Outside, thunder rolls like distant cannon. You inhale, then choose instead to write a single line across the barren space. Finis scriptori, initium lectori. The end of the writer is the beginning of the reader. You sign no name. You set the quill down. The ink dries. Moments later, a deafening silence swells. Nothing shatters. No screams jab the night. Perhaps you have arrested the chain of horrors. Or perhaps the scroll waits for a new hand. Yours or someone else's. You fold the parchment and slip it back into its case. Then bind it with wax, sealing the final image forever in possibility. You step outside, welcoming the first faint light of dawn. In the distance, bells ring with ordinary harmony. The city breathes. You walk toward the bridge, cloak billowing, questions trailing like invisible banners. Did you conquer fate, or merely pause it? Will someone decode your Latin motto and resume the script? More importantly, what will you do when history looks at you and asks for an account? The scroll remains silent, yet you feel its presence warm against your ribcage, a heartbeat not entirely your own. You conclude this tale here, offering a single, lingering thought. Knowledge is never harmless. It is a blade, and the hand that wields it must choose between carving truth or spilling blood. Tonight, you chose restraint. Tomorrow, who will you be? Remember that final line. Echo it softly. Finis scriptori, initium lectori. If you repeat it aloud, do you feel the parchment stir? Perhaps you do. Perhaps that is the true miracle and menace of words. So carry this memory carefully. Let it remind you that curiosity births wonder and terror in equal measure. Guard your quill, guard your conscience, and should a scarlet scroll ever cross your path, ask yourself one simple question before you read. Are you prepared to become the story you seek?